you mentioned that you feel like the grandfather of the industry.
Was when I was only 18 years old as a trading educator for a different firm before I started my own education company. Eventually started my own, and that turned into my YouTube channel, which interviewed a bunch of founders, and then eventually started my own prop firms.
So what would you advise to traders that are waiting for their payouts?
That's a really good question.
You are the co-founder of maybe 10 companies. Is that true? Blake Olson, a godfather of the industry, a founder of Smart Prop Trader and co-founder of The Funded Trader, shares his secret on how to spot cheaters in a prop trading, how to become a successful trader, or what steps to take when a company doesn't want to give you a payout. Hello Blake, welcome on our show.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
I'm so excited about having you on our show because I can't wait to hear your story, especially that you mentioned in one of your interviews that you feel like the grandfather of the industry. So I can hear your story. I know that a couple of weeks ago you were on your honeymoon. You also came to Prague and you visited our Prague office. So how did you find our office?
It was actually really great. Jacob was an amazing host, showing me around the office, and it looked very professional. I'd say definitely one of the most professional of all the prop firms out there in terms of office for sure. So it's really, really cool, and I was very thankful for the opportunity to go visit it.
Yeah, thank you. I also heard that you were studying in Prague. Is that true?
Yes, I did take a summer study abroad program. It wasn't like a full, I didn't get my degree from there or anything, but I did take a semester there.
How did you end up in Prague? Like, I would understand Barcelona, Rome, Paris, but Prague. So how did you like Prague?
It's honestly one of my very favorite countries, especially in terms of the food. It's even for foods that are supposed to be specialized elsewhere, the food in Prague is just another level. The goulash, everything is really, really good. So I liked it a lot.
Would you say that Prague is the prop trading capital?
In terms of prop trading capital, I think it's definitely the origin of the prop firm world. I'm not sure if it's still the prop firm capital necessarily, but I definitely would say that prop firm got its roots in Prague, especially from FTMO and other similar companies.
Yeah. I listened to a couple of your interviews, and in one of the interviews, you mentioned that you feel like the grandfather of the industry. So can you elaborate on it?
Yeah, I think the one you're referring to is actually an interview with Angelo. And he was the one who said the quote, and I was with him talking about both of us being the grandfathers of the industry. And I think what that really comes down to is I was very lucky in terms of my timing of when I approached this industry. I approached it very, very early on, right at the onset of a lot of the big changes. Before a lot of these new firms even existed, I was already trading with different firms, and I was getting payouts, and I was posting it all onto my YouTube channel, onto Trade Connect VVS, and that really got me going as one of the grandfathers of the industry. Along with that, that's actually how I even met Angelo and started that whole thing, which I'm sure we'll get into later. But the main reason is because I was able to interview so many founders of the industry and also start one of the very first prop firms, not the first, but one of them.
Yeah. How many companies are right now in the industry? Do you know?
There's over 100 prop firms in the industry, most of which, of course, are very not well known, but there is quite a lot.
When was the first time you came across prop trading? Because you said that you have been like in the industry for a couple of years. So when was the first time you came across prop firm?
I actually came across it while I was still in college, and that's actually when I started my trading education course that I used to have. And for my course, I wanted to be able to prove that I was actually a good trader. And the best route that I saw at the time to do that was to try out an FTMO challenge. I ended up trying this and passing on my very first attempt and getting more than 30% profit on my very first funded account, which I document that whole journey throughout my YouTube channel from passing each phase to getting the funded account, and even a little bit of bumps in the road that were eventually squashed. But it was great to have that whole experience and documented the whole thing all on my YouTube channel.
So what did you do before you started trading? What is your background actually?
Before I started trading, I was a minor. I was a kid because as soon as I turned 18, I got into trading, and so I didn't have I did work other jobs before this. I was a normal employee at other different
Mhm.
businesses unrelated. But my first ever job in this industry was when I was only 18 years old as a trading educator for a different firm before I started my own education company. Eventually started my own, and that turned into my YouTube channel, which interviewed a bunch of founders, and then eventually started my own prop firms thereafter.
Wow. So it was when you were 18.
Yes.
Wow. So how old are you right now, if I can ask?
I'm 25.
Wow. Since you have such an overview of the industry, so what do you think are the emerging trends of the industry right now?
One of the biggest trends that I'm seeing is unfortunately, a lot of declined payouts I see from a lot of firms,
Mm.
and some of those I think are very legitimate. There are a lot of cheaters in this industry as well, but I don't think every single one is. And that's an area
Mm.
that I think has a lot of opportunity for growth in this industry is making sure that we can be fair as platform owners to traders. If they are deserved a payout, they definitely should get one. If not, of course they shouldn't. And it's as simple as black and white as that. The other big trend that I'm seeing in this industry is talk of regulations. And the last one I'll mention is in terms of the prop firms themselves, they are starting to offer more customization within their actual offerings and being
Mhm.
able to pay more for certain upgrades and things of that nature.
Yeah, you mentioned customized challenges. We just launched this as well a couple of weeks ago, and I have to say that like over 90% of our customers they customize their challenge, so it's very very trendy. You also mentioned cheaters in the industry. So how can we spot cheaters really?
So, as a prop firm owner, there's a lot of tools you have, and it all depends on your technology and
Mm.
what your technology can do. So there's technology that drives all the prop firms out there. There's some firms
Mm.
that have their own, and others that choose to white label, and others that choose to license. And licensing is by
Mm.
far the most popular option out there, but there is many firms in the other two categories as well. And so, not all firms are that provide technology are even close to being equivalent as well. Some are very vastly more qualified than others, and some of them will
Mhm.
provide things such as IP tracking. If there is, let's say, 100 of your traders are all trading from the same IP address, that should spot a red flag. There's
Mm.
other strategies that are banned by almost all prop firms, or at least they should be, such as high frequency trading. And so far, I only know of one single prop firm that is actually able to, or one single technology firm, excuse me, that's able to catch people automatically that is high frequency trading.
Mm.
Everyone else in the industry right now is all doing that manually. But those are kind of the tools that we as prop firm owners use to do that. There's many more as well, but it would take me too long to get into every single one.
You mentioned also software and technology, and I know that there is one company that has a monopoly, and this company provides a software to prop trading companies that they can rent. So, however, I think I heard that you are a founder of one company that provides very similar software. So, can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, I definitely can. Essentially, with this, it's a cutting edge software, and I am on the pinnacle of it. It's not quite out yet, so I won't be able to speak about
Mm.
every single aspect of it just quite yet. But I can, even as early as next month, talk about everything, being full disclosure about everything, every single aspect about it. But some high level points to it is that there is a huge gap in that specific area of this industry. And I think that there
Mm.
is some ethics that are being missed by a lot of the companies in that space right now. And my company is going to be completely focused on the ethics portion so that we can give the best outcome for both the prop firms themselves as well as the traders and provide the most fair environment for the traders as well.
Mhm, mhm. So maybe can you tell us a little bit more about what kind of software is it? I know you can't really disclose all the information, but that we can, imagine what it's all about.
Yeah, so essentially, every single prop firm requires a connection to the broker along with the client,
Mm-hmm.
which is the trader. and an in between. So there, it's essentially everything, the glue that holds the prop firm together. It's really what the prop firm really is. Otherwise, if you had to do everything manually, you'd have to track everyone's account, and there's no way you could have even say 10 clients at your prop firm. So if you have more than 10 clients with a prop firm, I highly recommend you use some sort of technology to automate certain tasks and makes it more fair and less of a situation of he said, she said. It's all automated, which of course computers don't lie. If a trader does hit a profit target, the computer can see that right away and is then able to offer the trader to continue to the next stage or to a funded account or to go through the KYC process, anything like that. Whereas a manual person would have to do that all manually, which would take longer times and they could miss things and make more mistakes. So this is definitely the best case for both the prop firms as well as the traders.
How did how did you come up with this idea to create this kind of software?
Essentially, I noticed the gap in the market in terms of both ethical as well as other aspects as well, security and maximizing the checkout process as well. With a lot of these licensed tech companies right now, they'll have you go onto a website and then you have to go onto a different website to log in, and then on that other login, you have to go through another lengthy process just to check out, which is usually one or two additional more pages. And I thought this was crazy. So my team, I don't want to take credit for this. It's all my team, not me. Have created a system where it's very easy to check out right on the homepage, which boosts conversions significantly for the prop firm. But then they're also the most high qualified technicians in the whole world, in my opinion. Just as an example, one of our technicians is the person who brought back the YouTube dislike button in the form of a Chrome extension. So this team is extremely highly talented. And so they're able to do a lot of other things that a lot of other technology companies can't do in terms of technical specifications, in terms of maximizing the experience for the trader, and also being able to offer unique instances to help the prop firms stand out from each other.
You mentioned that you will launch the company next month.
Yes, that's correct, in January.
So, okay, so fingers crossed. How easy or difficult it will be to persuade companies to use your software?
It should be extremely easy. Everything that we're doing is so advanced on our end that it makes it so simple on the end of the prop firm owner. So if there is another prop firm owner out there who is interested in starting their own prop firm, that is definitely some area that we definitely can help out. Please do keep in mind we're not here for everyone. Our tech software is only for the top end prop firms. So we're looking for prop firms that are very serious and that want to really stand out in this industry, not just trying to get as much money as possible from as many traders or prop firms as possible.
Great. Let's go back to prop firms, because I would love to know more. What do you see as the biggest challenges companies are facing right now? Because you mentioned that there are over 100 companies, so the market is very saturated.
Yeah.
So what do you think are the biggest challenges?
The biggest challenges are definitely come down to a few main things. I would say number one is cheaters. Unfortunately, it's a very sad truth. There is quite a lot of cheaters in this industry. That could be anything from high frequency traders, which are relatively easy to spot, to reverse traders, to IP spoofing, to so many other different issues that traders can do to really take advantage of the demo environments with prop firms. Because they are demo, there's delay execution. There's so many other things out there as well that traders can take advantage of. In terms of other issues that I'm seeing is definitely in terms of profitability. Many prop firms out there actually don't have the right systems in place in order to have a profitable model. I think that they kind of just thought, like, let's try something. I see this other prop firm is doing that. Let's try that as well. And it may or may not work out for that other prop firm who's copying the other one.
Yeah, sure. Everyone talks about transparency. So what rule would you implement to make this industry more transparent?
I think if there was a third party that was trusted and agreed upon, that was unbiased and didn't have any stakes or any of their own prop firms, but also didn't have any affiliate links or anything like that. It was able to just be a third party that can verify payouts to traders and also verify that when a trader is rejected from a payout, that reason is legitimate. And that'd be really awesome. But that's a little bit of
Mhm.
wishful thinking, because I don't think there's many people out there who would be willing to do that, especially if it wasn't
Mm,
very paid or things like that. But that'd be awesome if we could get an agency out there that could do that for traders and be
mm.
fair.
Nice one. I'm also curious about your story because I know that you are the founder of Smart Prop Trader. So can you tell us the story behind?
Yeah. So within Smart Prop Trader, the goal of that firm was to be it was originally the cheapest firm upon launch in terms of the cost. There was no prop firm out there at all that had a lower price than that firm. In
Hmm.
addition to that, it also was the first prop firm ever to have a two-phase evaluation for less than 8% profit target.
Hmm.
It still has a 7% profit target for phase one. There's been a few other companies that have copied Smart Prop since its launch, but it was the very first for that, and it's kind of an industry leader in that way. And it's
Hmm.
the whole point of the firm is to really stand out and make everything better ultimately for the traders, but also make money along the way as well.
Hmm. Hmm. I also know that you are the co-founder of the Funded Trader.
Mhm.
I'm curious because what's the strategy behind being the founder of a prop firm and then the co-founder of another firm? And I think that I heard that you are the co-founder of maybe 10 companies. Is that true?
No, I'm not the co-founder of 10 companies. I do work with quite a few different companies. I don't take equity stake in basically any other ones at all. I'm there just to
Hmm.
help out this whole industry thrive. So I help out quite a few different founders to help them succeed with their trades, with their business model as well, because there is so much misinformation out there. So many platform owners doing things poorly, and so I'm happy to help out the whole community, because essentially when one prop firm does well, rather than being so competitive, it actually ends up helping the whole industry. So the bigger this whole industry is, the more it helps out all of the top prop firms out there. In terms of
Really?
yes, go ahead.
No, no, no. I mean, like, you are the founder of prop firm, right? So every single company just competes with each other. So I can't see the point really how to help like other competitors succeed, right?
The main
So
part
maybe can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, for sure. So basically, it's kind of the idea of a rising tide raises all ships. So if one
Mm,
prop firm or many prop firms or a select group of them are performing very very well, and they're able to
mm-hmm,
pay out all of the traders, smart traders, the best traders out there, will work with multiple prop firms. There's no reason for a
mm,
trader to only stick with one single prop firm. That's a very small-minded approach. Rather, really good traders decide to at least try out many other prop firms, if
mm.
not continue to trade with many different prop firms all at the same time.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. And you mentioned that you are working with several companies.
Mhm.
Maybe can you tell us a little bit more about it? Like, what do you focus on when you cooperate with each company? Like, is it like product development, or is it like marketing strategy, or maybe can you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, and I'll also touch briefly on your previous question about the fund and trader as well, because it ties into this
Mm,
answer. Within the fund and trader, I have been the chief growth officer with all but the most recent offering. I've had a major part, if not the only major part, to play in the design of the challenges. I was the person who thought of making the first ever prop firm to have a 6% daily loss limit. Also
mhm,
to do the 12% as well, and many other aspects that the fund and trader has really shined in. That was all my idea, as well as initially publishing the fund and trader on my YouTube channel, of course. And that's where I gained a lot of my knowledge after I had already interviewed many of the different prop firm founders from other prop firms that were before the fund and trader. That being said, I use that knowledge now to help out any prop firm that is requiring assistance. And some
mm,
of them are paid deals that I have, some of them are not. And it's really a situation where I just want to see the whole industry win. So that benefits both the traders and the prop firms themselves. And the main reason why I do this is because I was a trader as well. And I know how
mhm,
hard it is, or how annoying it is. I have been rejected a payout from a different prop firm before. I have had all these issues with other prop firms before. I've also had huge payouts with other prop firms before as well. And this is something that really drives home for me, is I want to be able to offer traders a great experience no
mhm.
matter which prop firm they go to.
Okay. You mentioned that you got pretty nice payout as well. So what was the biggest payout you got?
One of the biggest payouts was actually that first one that I mentioned earlier from FTMO of over 30% gain on account.
Nice one. You also mentioned that you did quite a few interviews with other founders of prop firms. What was the most important thing you learned from them?
That's a really good question. I would say that the most important thing that I learned is from their perspective, what are they really looking for? Because the truth of the matter is that a lot of firms don't have any sort of actual backing to actually use the trader data to make money with it. And there are some out there that do as well. It's not all black, it's not all white. There's not all A book, there's not all B book. It's definitely a mix among different prop firms. And the truth of the matter is that it is really difficult to actually use trader data to be profitable with a master account. It is possible, and some prop firms do it, but that's kind of what I learned by interviewing so many of these different founders, and probably the biggest lesson and biggest takeaway I've had.
Tell me, what is the most important thing for traders when they are purchasing the challenge? What is the reason why they choose this prop firm and not that one?
I think by far,
Can you say it?
yes, I do. I think by far the biggest reason for that is that traders want a prop firm they can trust. And this is why you see ones that aren't as competitive, such as FTMO, still being one of the biggest ones out there. FTMO is by no means the most competitive prop firm, I believe, in any category, other than offering C Trader perhaps and DX Trader, or all these new features that they're offering more recently. But for the most part, they don't have anything that's too out there and too much of a competitive advantage other than that long-term trust. And that's something that I think traders are really looking for right now. Is there's because there are so many issues of non-payouts and things like this nature, people are looking for the most trustworthy names out there.
You mentioned that some companies they are not paying payouts, not on time, but they are just not paying payouts. So, what would you advise to traders that are waiting for their payouts? So what can they do?
There unfortunately currently isn't a whole lot that traders can do. If it's been more than 2 weeks, I would definitely mention it online. Unfortunately, publicity actually does tend to help in terms of eventually receiving the
Mm.
payout. That shouldn't be the way that it is, but unfortunately, that does tend to be the way it is. Where if you make a big fuss about it publicly, then the companies tend to notice and want to fix their mistake and eventually pay out the trader. But I would stress that I would recommend that you give the company some time. Like that 2 week window is probably the minimum that I'd wait before actually doing anything like that. I don't necessarily recommend
Mhm.
that strategy all the time. I also recommend reaching out to the company multiple times, asking for, "Are you sure? Is there anything else we can do?" Things of this nature. Unless they
Mhm.
give you a reason, or if you really are a cheater, which unfortunately, again, there are many trader cheaters in this industry, then you shouldn't expect to pay out if that is the case for you.
Mhm. Um, uh, you are the owner of Propfirm, right? So can you share some statistics with us? Maybe how the behavior of your traders changed over the time since the launch of the company. So can you see some, uh, you know, some statistics?
Sure. One statistic I have offhand, I don't have anything in front of me, just from my memory, is
Mm.
originally Smart Prop Trader had a 5% daily maximum loss. And
Mhm.
later on, we decided to change it to a 4%. And you might think this makes traders fail more often. But surprisingly, because traders know that and we're public about it, we're say on the homepage of the website, it's everywhere. There's no sort of confusion at all. Traders will risk less and therefore actually have a slightly higher pass rate with the lower
Mhm.
maximum daily drawdown. And that's something I was really surprised by. And that's something that's a statistic that I would highly recommend for all traders to take in mind. That maybe even if the prop firm does have a 5 or even a 6% daily maximum loss, maybe pretend
Mhm.
as if it is a 4, and use that in mind as if that was the hard stop, not your personal stop. Meaning that maybe your personal stop is actually as low as 3 at the absolute most for any given day.
Mhm. Mhm. Can you share some statistics like what is the pass rate of the challenge?
I don't have the numbers in front of me, so I wouldn't be able to share the exact pass rates. But just industry standard, I do have those off the top of my head.
Yeah.
For phase one in general in this industry, traders can expect to have a pass rate anywhere from 20 to 30% is pretty standard at the high end.
Hmm.
For some other prop firms, I've seen it much, much lower, closer down to 10% or very few even below that. In terms of phase two, it definitely is a higher number because phase twos are
Hmm.
always or almost always going to be easier to pass, even though it's a more selective
Hmm.
group of traders. So those pass rates are definitely be closer to that 30% mark. And then for the funded traders, surprisingly, you'd think everyone who's funded should be able to get a payout. It's not every single trader who's funded gets a payout. It's actually around half or so traders that can make at least 0% theoretically be able to make a payout of any size.
I want to go back to the competitive environment of the prop industry. So, what do you think makes the company to stand out? Because I feel like every company has a very, very similar product, and then it's so easy to copy the product from each other very fast. So, what do you think is the what do you think makes the company to stand out?
The hardest thing to copy, to your point, is reputation. So if prop firms
Mm,
should just be focusing on that point the most and really care quite a lot about their own reputation in this industry, because if you have a high reputation, it's awesome if more people are trying to copy you. That's one of the only things that is actually better if the competition copies you with. Better for overall traders, of course, not necessarily your own
mm,
company, but it is better in general. In terms of other things, such as having a lower profit target or a higher max daily drawdown or something like that, those are very easily copied by other prop firms, as I have witnessed firsthand from other prop firms having 7%, or I've even seen some as low as 6% now on daily. Of
mhm,
course,
mhm,
the
mhm,
the second phase is higher than, so it all averages out and is actually worse for the trader. But there is just so many things out there that are so easy to copy. If you as a prop firm
mhm.
owner can focus on the things that are hard to copy that traders also actually want, that is where you can actually stand out in this industry. But it is very challenging.
Mhm. And do you think that the behavior of traders that have funded accounts changed over the time? That you can see some trend?
I can definitely see what comes in waves is which pairs traders trade. It's
Mm.
not at all consistent from time X to time Y. In December so far, I've been seeing a lot of more traders trade gold more recently and be very successful in using that to pass their accounts.
Mhm, mhm,
Before, I've seen a lot of pound pairs be very successful, and this is something that kind of comes in waves. Obviously, traders are passing with all sorts of instruments all the time, but there definitely are tendencies and strategies with that information.
mhm. And can you see that like over the time, the pass rate is getting higher and higher because of so many YouTube videos about how to pass a challenge?
I think the industry standard pass rate has gone up very slightly, but it really hasn't changed all that much.
Mm. Mhm, mhm, mhm. And tell me, like, because you are a funded trader as well, are you still trading?
I don't have a whole bunch of time now to trade, to be honest. I am a lot more focused on the tech company that we're talking about earlier. That's kind of where my main focus is right now.
Mhm.
And I'm also working on a few other projects as well that would help the whole industry. And
So
overall,
can you disclose some information? What kind of projects?
um, all I can say right now is going to be an app that traders are going to really,
Mm.
really enjoy, and it solves a major problem in this industry. But it's not quite out yet, so I don't want to give out too much more information other than that.
All right. Okay. And maybe tell us a little bit about your trading history as well, so that we can listen to.
Sure. I mean, I don't have too much to speak about from my own trading history. I trade very uniquely compared to most traders. I basically
Hmm.
essentially fell in love with the Elliott wave style of trading. I've also implemented smart money concepts, as well as simple things like Japanese candlesticks and so many other strategies that people overlook. And if you
Hmm.
are with those strategies that people trade less often and kind of implement them with the strategies that people trade more often, you can create your own blue ocean from a red ocean, and that will give you a strategy if you're familiar with the blue ocean, red ocean book that I'm referring to.
I'm not very, so maybe you can tell us a little bit more about it.
Sure. I mean,
If
yeah, essentially the
yeah.
synopsis of this book, Blue Ocean, Red Ocean Strategy, is where there's so many red oceans out there, and a red ocean is an ocean that is very highly competitive. So, for example, if you were to try right now today to launch a company that will serve anyone in the whole world, will be able to offer products and compete with companies like Walmart, Amazon. That is a highly red ocean. It's a massive ocean. If you are successful at that, it's incredible. But you have to compete with these giants out there. Rather, it's a lot better if you can take a different aspect, such as maybe light bulbs or something, and really specialize in all kinds of light bulbs with the standard model of Amazon, and kind of combine those together into a new ocean. And if it's a brand new ocean, there's no blood in the water yet, it's not red yet, therefore it's a blue ocean, and you have the opportunity to be the biggest fish in the ocean, essentially.
All right, so I will make sure that I will read it like over the Christmas. Thank you for your tip. There is one question that I ask everyone on my show. What is the secret to become a profitable trader? Can you share your secret with us?
Yeah, of course. It's actually very simple. If you want to become a profitable trader, what you need to do is put in the time and effort. And so what that looks like is, if you are trading strategy, whatever strategy you have, make sure it's profitable first. That's step one. Make sure it's an actual good strategy. Step two is stay consistent. And that's it. What most traders fail to do is step two. What will happen is a trader will find a strategy that they know is successful, they know it's really good, but it'll have a temporary down period where they have a few losses in a row. And what they plan on doing then is they look for other strategies. They're like, oh no, what am I going to do? I don't want to be in drawdown on this challenge, especially if it's timed one. Then that can cause a lot of issues, and I might even lose my account. So then what they do is they'll change strategy, and they'll end up blowing their account almost 100% of the time because they aren't staying consistent. If you just stay consistent with your own strategy, you can figure out what the real win rate is and figure out if it's actually good or not. And as long as it is actually a real good strategy, you will eventually have success with your challenges.
Blake, thank you very much for your time. I really enjoyed our interview. I wish you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and hope to see you next time here in Prague in our studio.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas.